Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. Sean Higgs coming at you, as always, on a Tuesday. I'm joined by Chirimbes, Nomad Fargo today. He's got some mechanical difficulties with his son's car. I told him, I said, well, when your son asked what's for Christmas, he said, there you go, I fixed your car, son. Merry Christmas. There you go. Got to learn. You got to learn. Hit the like button. YouTube notifications. Let's go be part of the Winner's Circle family. Free pick videos Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We got you covered. NFL, college football, bowl games, the Football Live, Monday Night Prop Show, Football Friday, Mark Lawrence, Victor King, Paul Bovey, Jim Feist, Scott Pritchard with our guy Chip Chirimbes doing some previews as well. We got you covered here. Free picks galore. But again, these are free picks, freebies. If you want the premium action, head on over to our sponsor, gamblersWORLD.net. Me, Chip, 12 other top handicappers. We got you covered. There's a leaderboard. Win or lose, always the truth, no hiding from the records. And the 12 days of deals continue. $150. Here it comes across the bottom. I was going to say $99 off, but let's just say $150 all the way through the College Bowl Championship. That's a lot of games, depending on how guys break it down. Now, I have 13 bowl games up right now. I have 13 up. So basically it comes out to, I'm sure I'll add something else. We're talking about $10 a game. I mean, that's not even counting any of the playoff games. These are just random bowl games I got up. I didn't even do the playoff crap nonsense yet. So good deal if you want to get down on me. But we have other cappers on the site. We got Mr. NBA, Chip Chirimbes here, Mr. Hockey, Doug Upstone. But I was looking at the college football leaderboard, and I'll give props to our guys. Brian Biller, number 1, 63 and 49, 56%. Kyle Hunter, number 2. Mark Lawrence, number 3, who I'm joined with on the Football Fridays for NFL. Good numbers, 40 and 28, 30, 19, 56, 63, 61%. Not bad runs. I thought I'm having a good season. I'm 93 and 79. Obviously a little more higher volume, which is why I'm not in the number there. But 55% season for me. As I said, 13 games for the Bowls. Chip Chirimbes, any bowl action? Are you ready? We got a bowl tonight. Was it Boca Raton today? We got a Boca Raton bowl tonight?
Yeah, I like tonight's bowl game, as a matter of fact, and I have a major play going on in NCAA basketball as well. And we're on a 19-4 streak. Excuse me, a 24-5 streak right there. So I'm feeling really good about basketball right now, both in the NBA and college. And these bowl games now, Sean, this is the greatest time for us because we have a great resume and we have a wonderful, we have 11, 12 games that we can check on and see. We've got a big sample size, and we should do very well during the bowls.
Yeah, I'm normally bowl season's pretty good for me.
Yeah.
Usually like on something like a 16 and 7. That's normally somewhere around 15 and 10.
That's pretty good.
And that's an early, that's me getting down to, second week of December.
Right.
I swore I was going to be a little more selective this year, and I didn't. I saw the portal jumps, and I'm like, you know what? I'm jumping in early. I'll see how we do. So far, 2-1 I had. South Carolina State was a loser, but South Dakota was a winner. And who's the other? Montana State total. Again, smaller little nonsense games, but 2-1 so far. We'll see how we do. Get ahead of the numbers,
Sean, you get paid just as much for winning on that game as any other game. So don't degrade it or slight it because a winner's a winner and they're hard to come by.
Like you said, they're not chasing you down when your 4-point dog lost by 32. You owe me. No, they don't do that, and they sure don't say your 4-point fave won by 30. I owe you more. It's a win. It's a loss, so we move on.
Right.
College hoops you mentioned last week. Tip 2-1 here with our college free picks. 4-2 for the seasonal college free picks. We were slow picking up college because we had tournaments and stuff like that, so not a lot. But we got a couple games today we're going to look at. Let's just talk about Matt's game real fast. Clemson and South Carolina, it was 3. I see this down to actually 1.5 at some spots right now, even a 2. Clemson's ranked 9-2, 65 ATS. Last year, this was a 5-point game. The year before that, South Carolina won. They've kind of rotated the last couple of years. South Carolina losses to Xavier, Indiana, and North Florida. I mean, North Florida, what are you doing there, fellas? But the move here makes it look like you should probably throw a little something on the money line. Again, this was Matt's game. He said, listen, guys, I'm sorry. I'm at getting this thing fixed. He didn't even get back to us, but I figured I'd look at it. I was kind of leaning towards South Carolina. I haven't bet this game. I do have a 3-pack up on gamblersWORLD.net of 3 college hoops winners, but this one did not make my card. I would lean with the dog, probably just a money line. If they win, they're going to win. The North Florida loss leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But you have any thoughts on this one before we move on to our other games today?
It's a big rivalry game in South
Yeah.
Carolina, and everyone down there is much more aware of it, I'd say, than the general public. These two have gone under the total 9 of the last 10 meetings, Sean, and I was looking at that. Clemson seems to be the better club and has played a much tougher schedule. I was looking here to take the points with Carolina at home, South Carolina, but the Gamecocks, their schedule isn't anywhere near what Clemson has already played, So
Yep.
I sort of lean toward Clemson. They're averaging more points offensively and they're allowing less points defensively. But that number 2.5 and the fact it's a rivalry game, I would gravitate toward the underdog. Though I'm glad this was Matt's play and not mine. I guess I would play the Gamecocks as a lean, and nothing too strong on this game for me anyway.
I'm with you on that one. It looks like a South Carolina play there for me.
Yeah.
And speaking of South Carolina, in their bowl action, I kind of like Illinois. I haven't moved on Illinois. It's gone from 11 down to 9. I kind of like Illinois in that bowl game. I have not moved on it, but there's a little bonus South Carolina bonus play for you there, or anti-South Carolina play. But our two games today, we're going to talk about. You got UNLV and Dayton. You're a Vegas guy. I had to throw UNLV out there. Not a good season. 1-7-1 ATS. They're catching 11 from the Flyers. They're one of those. Here we go. We got a ranked team. Let's be honest. 8-2 ATS for Dayton. Not a bad run. Their losses to Iowa State, who's last I checked was probably a top 5 team, and North Carolina 92-90, which I'll be talking about in a second. Again, not a bad squad. They beat UConn, Marquette. So they are the real deal. You lose by 5, you lose by 2 to top 5. And North Carolina is still a good program. I know they got some losses. We'll talk about them in a second. But man, the Lady 11 here, it's a random. This time of year, not a lot of kids on campus. Are they hanging out after the Marquette win? That might help UNLV. It won't be a crazy student section going wild here though. But is 11 enough for you to take the Rebels at 1-7-1 ATS?
I don't know, Sean. The Rebel basketball team is doing the opposite of what the football team did. I mean, the football team covered everything in sight for the first half of the season, or first 2/3 anyway. And here are the Rebels only covered one of the first 9 games. They just don't seem to have that same kind of firepower. 3-0 this year with Dayton already. You had them against North Carolina plus the points. We had them against Marquette last time out on Saturday. Went 5-1 Saturday with our college selections, Sean. So really feeling good about it. UNLV just got pounded by Creighton, and Creighton's good. We know they're good, but 11 is an awful lot of points, and I think UNLV is going to need them. If I was to play the game, I would stick with the Flyers. They've been good to me. 7-2-1 to the over is Dayton. 8-2 to the points. If you go point wise, you got one team that's 1-7-1, the other one's 8-2. Normally, Sean, I would play against the team that's been winning and with the team that's been losing, but I just don't know if this Rebel team can measure up, especially because the Flyers have won 24 straight games at home, by the way, so don't take them lightly, and they're 8-0 this season already. I would lay Dayton before I take UNLV.
I got to agree with you. Dayton, and it's a big number, maybe even like a team total. You mentioned they're 7-2-1 to the over, so they're scoring. I hate laying big numbers. I don't care what the sport is. Yeah. But UNLV is, like you said, 1-7-1. They're not covering nothing. They're not doing a good job.
Oh.
Look at, 10-point dog. They're losing. It's 14-point favorite. You beat Pepperdine. That's one of your rare wins. But yeah, I'm with you. Listen, show pick Dayton Flyers minus the 11. Dayton minus 11 points here for Chip Chirimbes as a free pick on Gamblers World. Now, he mentioned his college hoops run. How about his NBA? Number 1 in the NBA, 48-32, 60%. Chip Chirimbes killing it in the NBA. And your college basketball, Chip, 32-15. It would be, I should have mentioned it, 68% on the season. You're number 2 in the money on the site there. So get Chip's premium plays, whether it's tonight, tomorrow, whenever, NFL, Mr. NBA, Chip Chirimbes at gamblersworld.net. Use your $69.99 day pass. I'm sure he's probably have a college basketball and an NBA and maybe a bowl game all wrapped up on one day. Save yourself some money. My game tonight, we mentioned North Carolina because they beat your Flyers there 92-90. They are a 3.5-point underdog here to the Florida Gators, a ranked team in the top 10 here. We got a ranked. And North Carolina's in there too as well. They are just 6-4. This game is in North Carolina, but it's not in their North Carolina. It's in Charlotte. This is the Jumpman Invitational, some nonsensical whatever. It's a good matchup. We talk about, college football and, well, how do you get teams to be in the playoffs and strength of schedule and stuff? Let's run the North Carolina 6-4, Chip. Lost to Alabama, lost to Auburn, lost to Kansas, and lost to Michigan State. And you beat Dayton, who's in the top 10.
Yeah.
3 of those teams are in the top 5. And you're talk about, hi, let's just schedule. We're going to schedule guys. Yeah, North Carolina does the job. They do the job here. I'm going to be taking the points for North Carolina. I see it's actually creeping up a little bit. I saw a 4. I saw a 3. Right. I saw a 3.5. I saw a 4. Find the best number. Shop around. I haven't bet this game. I'm waiting to see if I can get a 4 for myself because I can't get a 4 at a book of mine. So I want to see if I can get a 4 somewhere else. Florida is 10-0. Again, favored here on a neutral. I get it. They're 10-0. Who have they beaten? Okay, they're 7-3 ATS. What are they on the tour de force of Florida? Jim, South Florida, Jacksonville, Florida A&M, and Florida State.
Limit increase.
What are we doing here? That's Bama. Even though Michigan State's down, a lot better competition on the other side of the
right.
Who's Florida? Who's their marquee? Kind of let's get up. This is their toughest test, and they're favored on the neutral. I'm not buying it. Carolina Tar Heels for me.
Well, the Tar Heels look like a different team since Hubert Davis has taken over. They really have lost a little bit of their luster. But Auburn, Michigan State, Alabama, and Kansas. I mean, they've lost. They haven't beaten a top-ranked team yet this year, and yet they've played 4 of them.
Well, they beat Dayton. They beat Dayton.
Oh, yeah, Dayton. They didn't cover. All right,
yes.
But in our mind, sometimes, Sean, thinking so much against the points, it registers as a loss in your head, even though they won the game.
It does.
You know what I mean?
We need to cover. We don't ever about to win. We need to cover.
Florida Gators 7-3 against the number, Sean, and listen to the 3 games they didn't cover. 36-point favorite to Florida A&M, 26-point favorite to Grambling, 24.5-point favorite to Jacksonville. Those are the 3 games they did not make it against. Also rans against secondary schools, huge favorites. Now they're only a 4.5 favorite in the game here. I lean toward the underdog. It's in Charlotte. Maybe it's not exactly their home, but it's certainly going to be foreign for the Gators. And Florida, since that 05-06 run they had been very disappointing. I mean, they've been also rans. They're off to a great start here. Only the 3rd time in 118-year history that they've started 10-0. But I think that Carolina should come to play tonight. I'll take the points.
Yeah. Again, it's Charlotte, but you know what? This is still North Carolina country. People are gonna come out and cheer for North Carolina. They're not gonna come in and be like, hey, we're relocated from Florida and we're living in North Carolina. No. People. Again, I look at the schedule. You beat Virginia by 20, but Virginia's they're not even a top 100 team.
No,
their best win is Arizona State. Their best win is Arizona State right now.
The coaching changes are so dramatic in college, and it's so obvious when you have, like you just said, the schools we just mentioned. You got new coaches, new regimes, and they're not even close to being the same. Villanova, places like that where you've had, top quality coaches, and they've had to step down. Hey, but you know what? Carolina's got a top quality coach now. His name is Bill Belichick. So we're going to have to see what goes on there.
What is that about?
Don't know. Couldn't figure that out. Was that a shocker, Sean? Were you shocked or what when you heard that? I mean, I can't believe it.
Listen, the fact that he's got it lined up for his son to be head coach in 3 years, I mean, are you that hated in the NFL that your son can't get a job?
Boy, he must have burned a lot of bridges because, you would want this guy as a coach. He's a winner, obviously. And, it's kind of unique. I guess a lot of people aren't too happy with the guy that's won as many games as he has and he can't get a job.
I mean, maybe they're taking it like no Brady, no wins, but his first year with Mac Jones, when Mac Jones had offensive coordinator, Mac Jones was decent. It was only when you went to a defensive coordinator and a special teams coach that Mac Jones fell off the earth.
And Sean, what was that all about? I mean, that might be what's costing him his job. They may think that he just lost it when thinking that he's so arrogant that he can put, Patricia, an absolutely horrible head coach, as his offensive coordinator. When he's a defensive guy, it made no sense whatsoever. As this play makes no sense, him going to North Carolina. I don't get it. I mean, he's 82. I think he's 82.
Yes.
How else are you going to be there? You're going to recruit guys for
or I think he's like
years?
78. I think Mac Jones is 76. He's 7. It's still, you're
right.
How are you relating to these young guys? I can't relate to them. My son's 20 years younger than me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't relate to this nonsense.
I think it's an odd fit. I really do.
I understand they're probably thinking like, well, if Deion can lure guys, why can't Bill Belichick?
Because Deion can be there 10 years from now. Belichick won't be there 10 years from now.
But not only that, listen, Deion, you throw on a tape from the 90s. I throw on a tape from 80s football, or my son could look at basketball and be like, oh, man, that still translate. Like, showboating and big plays. That's coaching doesn't translate. How does that translate? Unless you're Nick Saban, maybe you look at it as, okay, he can recruit guys because they didn't pay anybody, right? I mean, they paid Randy Moss and Brady had a wide receiver and they go undefeated that season with those 50 touchdowns. So maybe they think he could just grab a bunch of 3-stars and just build a team of solid kind of his guys. But kids don't want that now. The kids aren't looking to win. They're looking for money. They want money now.
He's so conservative as it is. I'm wondering, any of the flash of great superstar high school players coming out, are they going to want to go there?
I don't know.
Maybe if you're a defensive player, if you're a linebacker, you might want to go there. But I don't know. I think it's an odd fit. I really do.
Yeah, I don't know why that's I have no idea what that. That's a Mac Jones to him. I don't get it. I do not get it. Chip, it's December the 17th. I know Doug hit you with a rando out of the blue in the middle of the show yesterday with This Day in Sports. So I'll hit you at a normal spot this day in sports.
And I'm ready for you, Sean. I actually am because in 1920, the year after, I mean, we discussed this in 27. You might remember I said that they allowed the spitball to be used only by veteran pitchers. Rookies couldn't use it. Well, in 1920, the American League says the spitball is allowed to be thrown by everybody, but they had reversed that call 7 years later. 1933, on this date, Sean, the first NFL Super Bowl, actually it was the championship game was played, was won by the Chicago Bears over the New York Giants, 23-21. And it was the first game where the Bronco-Nagurski rule came into effect. And I had to look this up because I wasn't even sure of what it was. In the original days of the NFL, Sean, if you threw a forward pass, you had to be at least 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Think about that. You had to be 5 yards and back of the line of scrimmage. Bronco Nagurski was the big bruising fullback. He adjusted so that they used option passes where he would fake he was running, get in closer to the line of scrimmage, and then pop a pass. So that actually it turned NFL football around because nobody threw the forward pass then because they had to throw from 5 yards back. It changed the rule with Bronco Nagurski. That was in 1933 for NFL's first championship game. Now, in 1944, 11 years later, a guy by the name of Curly Lambeau, you may have heard his name a few times, he retired after Green Bay beat the Giants 14-7 in the NFL championship game, and it was the 6th time that Green Bay appeared in the championship game, the last time with Curly Lambeau in 11 years. 2022, you may remember, Sean, because I bet you had a bet on this game. You had a wager. Minnesota was leading 33-0 at the half against the Indianapolis Colts. They lost the game 39-36, and that was only 3.
I remember that.
Yeah, I told you. I'm sure you had action on it. And now I'm going to throw this one in, even though it doesn't pertain to anything we're dealing with. If Doug was here, he'd be really, really happy. 1983, Wayne Gretzky topped 800 career points, and he played only 351 games at the time. He averaged 2.7 points a game with goals, assists, and probably the greatest scorer in NHL history, without a doubt. Number 99, Wayne Gretzky. Not to be confused with Aaron Judge, number 99, one of the best players in baseball.
Wayne Gretzky, I remember someone put out on Twitter, maybe it's like the Super 70s guy. I don't know if you follow him on Twitter. He puts out like random stuff. He's a fun follow. And it was from like the CBS, like, they have like the Wild World of Sports, like the athletes compete against each other in the 70s.
Right.
Yeah. Wayne Gretzky in his 70s shorts that were like up to his groin area, outrunning like O.J. Simpson, like just by ridiculous margins.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy was like an athlete. Like people people say like, oh, players in the 80s, oh, the basketball players were plumbers and the NFL guys did like heating and air conditioning in the office. Like, bro, you go back and watch some of these 70s competitions between athletes across the board.
Sean, I'd go to the Garden. I swear I saw sparks come off his skates on the ice. I mean, I know it's not happening. It's just a glint and a glitz. But he was just so smooth and so fast. And Rousselain was the only guy I knew that can keep up with him as far as speed on the ice. But 800 points in 350 games.
That's
his
crazy.
First 350 games is just incredible in hockey.
And then you said the Bears and Giants. Yeah, not
Giants.
The Bears started 4-2, have lost 8 in a row now, and the Giants have 2 wins. How times have changed.
The Giants and the Raiders are going to be fighting it out, I guess.
Oh man, the Raiders should have got a cover last night. Blocked extra point.
They do this every time, every day. There's always something, I think it has to do with. I think it all revolves around coaching because they know they can't compete.
Raiders got some. What am I looking at? What were some? They got to face some reality in the offseason if they're going to get rid of their coach and start over with a new quarterback. Because if you get a new quarterback and then you wait another year to bring in a coach, that guy's going to want his guy. And
it's not going to help much, Sean, when they're averaging 3.1 yards a rushing attempt. I mean, they got rid of Jacobs and he's doing fine, but they got a long way to go. I guess the difference between the haves and the have-nots are so dramatic now, and they're talking about they want parity in the league, and there's nowhere close to it. There are some 6 or 7 really bad football teams.
But it's not just that. I mean, the quarterback play is atrocious. That's part of the problem.
Yeah, it's a quarterback-driven league for sure.
It starts in college, and now you got a transfer portal is going to screw up these kids. Everybody's wants to stay in school for 3 freaking years. Stay. It's okay. I think a fan base would want your quarterback to sit behind a veteran and learn a little bit. Unless you're gonna sit him out there and be like, who cares if we win 2 games? We're gonna just go and ride him out for 3 or 4 years. But
the perfect example, Sean, is Darnold's a perfect example. He comes out way too early, and it took him 6 years to grow into the position. He could have matured a little bit more at Southern Cal and been a little more game ready to get here. Rodgers sat out the first couple of years. There's some of these guys to step in as a rookie and think that you're going to succeed. The game is so much faster, bigger, stronger, and reading defenses. It takes a while. That's the most difficult position in all the sports, I think, being a quarterback.
We can say the Packers lucked into Brett Favre. They traded for Favre. They drafted Rodgers. They drafted Love. They all sat. They haven't had a quarterback problem since 1991. And even then, the Magic Man, Dan Markowski, wasn't a terrible quarterback.
No.
So these guys, I don't know. It's been 30 years, right? 30 years they've had no problem quarterback. It's okay to sit a guy. Yeah. They're doing all right. They won a couple Super Bowls. Yeah. Are they the best franchise? They've won a few. You haven't had quarterback problems like these other teams. You can't win them all.
It's always great to have Green Bay in the mix. It really is.
It's just again, we could do a whole podcast on quarterback, and let's get. This was a college basketball show. We've gone off the rails between Bill Belichick and NFL quarterbacks. Chip Chirimbes, Dayton Flyers -11. I concur on that play here. We both like. My play was North Carolina. Chip's also enjoying the Tar Heels as a neutral site underdog in North Carolina, in Charlotte. So 2 bigger schools. I mean, it's a favorite and a dog. I look at North Carolina as a favorite here. If they don't win outright, I'm thinking it's probably going to be a loser for us here, honestly. So Dayton and North Carolina as our free picks. Again, these are our free picks. Our premium plays can be found at gamblersworld.net. Chip Chirimbes, like I said, number 2 in college hoops. Not bad. Number 1 in NBA. That's pretty darn good. I'm having a good NBA. I'm 4-4, so I don't put a lot of NBA. But college basketball, 123 and 94, 57%. I got a 3-pack up.
Not bad.
Used 12 days of Christmas steal. College football, bowls all the way through the playoff championship game, $150. You can't beat that, folks, because most of the packages sell for probably $40 a pop. And if you get 7 games, you're saving money if you buy from one guy 7 times. Get the package, $69.99 daily package, everything included. We're here to help. Now we need you to help. Like button, subscribe, notification bells on. We'll be back tomorrow. Brian Biller joining the show with us. So, Chip Chirimbes, Matt Fargo in spirit, and myself. Have a good Tuesday. Good luck, everybody. Bye-bye.